Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. I am sitting here with Ryan Perrio and NFL insider James, and we are here to lay our flags down and plant them in some rookies.
Baker Mayfield style.
Diddy style, apparently.
Baker Mayfield style, Sooner style, you could say. So the idea of this is we are planting our flag. For me, I have 3 of them, and the only rule is they can't be first-round draft picks. So 3 guys that you are planting your flag on, you are going to look dead into the camera, and you are going to say, my name is Jamie Jakes. You don't have to say that part, but my name is, state your name, and I guarantee the success of this player, and here's why. So that's the rules. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Sweet. Speaking of which, to introduce my compatriots a little bit more to this direction, I have NFL insider James, specializes in the SEC, of course. And to this side of me, I have film demon, college film demon, Ryan Perrio. How are you doing, buddy?
Whew, just almost caught up. Maybe just caught up.
So Ryan Perrio is, of course, referring to caught up watching every college football game that he has available to him is what he's working himself through. James, how are you working yourself through, bud?
I'm watching the Stars game, man. I'm hoping we get this done by intermission. Just kidding.
We have a pretty good shot of getting the first one done, or we have a pretty good shot of getting our flag plants done in that time, but we have another one that we're recording after this, James. So subscribe, stay tuned. We are going to do a rookie bust episode next, going over first and later round busts from this rookie draft. And I guess I'll get it started, boys.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. And by the way, we did not discuss this beforehand, so hopefully, Allah willing, we will have some crossover so we don't all have to present all of our guys.
I was physically typing my answers into the text right as you said, don't send it. And I was like, oh, got Facebook the notes.
That's okay. It wouldn't have ruined the episode because we are going to hit, at least I know I'm going to hit on all of these guys. Hi, my name is Jamie Jakes, and I guarantee that Cam Scatabo will be successful in the NFL. 4th round pick, but he is walking into a good situation. I mean, being on the Giants is never a good situation, but good situation in terms of competition there. Tyrone Tracy already took over the backfield last year. He was a 5th round pick. To be specific, Tyrone Tracy was drafted 166 overall last season. He already took out Devin Singletary, who, by the way, is a cut candidate. They could save only $250K, or he could restructure Singletary over there for the Giants. Cam Scatabo was 105 overall drafted player. In his college career, Tyrone Tracy had less yards than Cam Scatabo had in his final season. That's receiving yards, that's rushing yards, that's touchdowns through the air and on the ground. There's no reason Cam Scatabo can't walk into this good situation theoretically, right? Daboll's a good guy, James?
Amazing guy.
Amazing guy, one of the
friend of the program.
Best coaches we've ever seen.
He watches. He hates you, but he watches.
Program builder. One of our, I can tell when he's leaving comments. Anyways, Daboll, everyone knows I love this guy. And that is why Cam Scatabo will succeed in the NFL. James, any thoughts on that?
I mean, Brian Daboll should pick a better burner account name. D-Bayball is not getting past the censors there. But, yeah, no shock that you picked Cam Scatabo. That's been a flag you've been running with since mid-college football season.
Yep. And this has honestly been the easiest episode we've recorded so far this offseason because the hard research already done.
Yeah,
I've already got all the stats and metrics memorized by this point anyway. So we're just riding off the seat of our pants. Ryan Perrio, what do you think about Cam?
I'll just go a little bit on to Tyrone Tracy's defense, as he was my guy last year, one of my plant flags. He was a receiver for his first 2 years in college, so he did not get a lot of run or reps at running back. So yardage can lie, but he is the perfect complement to Tyrone Tracy. If you want to talk about a Swiss Army knife and then an absolute blunt instrument, that's basically the difference between those two in the backfield. Tyrone Tracy can do everything. Also, Cam Scatabo can, but probably with a little bit more physicality and grit, as we like to call on this program. I think it's a great 1-2 punch. And like for like as a GM wise, look at the money you're saving by doing this with those two, a fifth rounder and a fourth rounder, basically piloting your backfield.
If they cut Singletary, they'll only save $250K this year, but the following season, I think he's due like $6 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So
he's been rendered basically useless by Tyrone Tracy. I think Tyrone Tracy absolutely is a solid runner in his own right, like I said, but a perfect complement to Scatabo. You can give Scatabo the first and the fourth quarters and let Tyrone Tracy take the middle two. You just open and close with Cam Scatabo, just basically picking you up 7 to 8 yards per run.
I'm excited for it. The only problem is the Giants offense is probably not going to score a lot of points. By the way, this isn't even a hot take, really. This is just, my flag plan. It's not a hot take because the best ball community already thinks I'm correct. They have Cam Scatabo drafted at running back 31. They have Tyrone Tracy running back 32. And then Devin Singletary, I think, is mostly going undrafted through like 18-round, 12-team fantasy football drafts. So not even that hot of a take, and that's why I'm starting with that one. James, you wanna take your first flag and plant it on a rookie?
My name is Jamie Jakes, and I'm planting the flag for Travion Henderson of the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Ooh.
Go ahead, James. Take it away.
I think he's going to a fabulous organization. I think Travion Henderson was the better of the two Ohio State running backs. He had a lot more home run hitters. I think you're going to see him be very valuable to the New England Patriots, and I think that offense is getting pretty interesting. And I've liked a lot of what I've heard from Mike Vrabel so far around what he wants to do with Travion. He thinks he's a 3-down back, which was, I think, the only question mark that we sort of all had out of him. And if Mike Vrabel views him as a 3-down back, considering how much of a tough guy he is, I'm on board. So I think he's going to a great situation, great player. Travion Henderson's going to work out.
What did he weighed out at like 205 at the combine, right?
205, but you know what? If you still got the muscle behind you, I think it can work. It's not a weight where I'm super worried about it.
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is 199 at the combine, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think he's Jahmyr Gibbs, and obviously the NFL doesn't think he's Jahmyr Gibbs. He's drafting second-round draft pick, right, James?
Barely. Fifth pick of the second round, so barely.
So, okay, top of the second round. That's good draft capital for a running back. He was a guy who was rumored that was going into the first round. I was kind of lower on him, so I can't plant my flag on him necessarily because I was like, everyone was like steaming him up like he was just a first round running back. And I was like, no, he's not Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not to that level of a running back, but he is good. So at the same time, I'm like, he kind of got drafted at an appropriate spot, but at the same time, Cam Scatabo should have been first round pick too. So that's why I had to plant my flag on him. I don't mind it, James. I mean, the one guy you didn't mention over there is Vrabel, who's brand new over there, already playing patty cakes and putting on pads at practice at OTAs, which is an awesome thing to see. So you got to love everything that's coming out of New England. You just kind of wonder how is Kyle Williams going to pick up the team and actually move the ball because they're still weak at wide receiver over there, James. Ryan Perrio, your thought on Travion Henderson?
Catch a lot of balls. So if those wide receivers aren't open, take it down.
I really like this pick. I mean, the more I watched Travion Henderson, his blitz pickup film, his blocking against defenders. Like you asked them if he weighed 205 when they're picking themselves off the grass. Man, he is absolutely like, I would say he's got the mindset of a Cam Scatabo. Like he is. I want to be out there all the time. If it means I just go out there and do the dirty work and play fullback for Quinshon Judkins, I'll do it. He is also, I believe, a high character guy. He actually leads a minister, I believe. He's ordained. He actually runs services and baptisms for Patriots players. He's already offering that out there. So high quality guy, absolutely just loves football. I would say he ended in a great spot too. Like you have Ramondre Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson there that's kind of, working his way out of the rotation. You know, you have a guy that picks up the pace.
They have Stevenson. Who else do they have over there? Because they paid another guy, right? Because Stevenson's getting paid a lot. Stevenson is that's my main concern about Travion Henderson is we might not see him get thrust into the starting lineup as quickly as we would like to.
Yeah, but I also like
Gibson and Terrell Jennings are the only two running backs on their depth
Gibson.
chart.
That's right.
Yeah.
And by the way, Antonio Gibson led the league in yards after contact per carry last season.
That's a stat.
So
also
that's a metric actually, and put that into your pipe and smoke it, James. All right, Ryan Perry. I think you are up, buddy. Get your flags out.
All right. I also have a running back. Ryan Perrio. I'm going to plant the flag for R.J. Harvey, running back of the Denver
Wow.
Broncos.
Damn it.
He is going to be.
Oh,
He is. You're looking at a backfield with Audric Estime, who is a short yardage specialist at best.
Yeah, he stinks.
And you have McLaughlin, who's kind of a change of pace back, but kind of more of a gadget. Maybe could probably sneak him in as a fourth or fifth receiver underneath. But man, when you watch RJ Harvey, he has the fastest like 10-yard splits. Like that guy goes and then he gets to high gear within 10 yards. Like he is gone. And he's a thick kid too. He's not just, he doesn't just have speed. He is actually a size. He kind of reminds me kind of Darrell Sproles-ish, just not as explosive, but he is that kind of back where he is going to just pick up chunks of yardage, especially in a Sean Payton offense.
Now he's a little bit older, right? Is that right?
Yes, he is.
22.
I think he's 23.
Yeah.
I think he.
Is that old?
Who else am I thinking of? No, I thought he was much older. I must be thinking of somebody else. That's okay.
Oh, he's 24. You're right. Wow.
He's 24 years old.
He had a COVID year and an injury year, I think.
Yep. 24 years old was my biggest concern with him. And
he's also a quarterback. He was a quarterback originally, so he did. That's why he also spent more time in college, is because he didn't transition to running back to, I believe, like his sophomore or junior season after trying to be a quarterback.
James, it sounds like this is a flag plant for you.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
that would be my third flag plant. I did actually thought that I was going to be the only one who said it, so I said, "Damn it!" when Ryan said it, because I was like, "Oh man, I thought I was going to be the only one." But I think it's a fantastic pick. I've got the same analysis as Ryan here, and I think the main reason why I love it so much is the fact that Sean Payton picked him up. This is a classic Sean Payton, Darren Sproles running back, guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield, guy who can help pass block. Like, he could have some touchdown passes this year. I mean, I honestly it was the only spot where he could have gone to where I went, wow, this is perfect, because it just fits the mold of the two running back system that Sean Payton loves.
Yeah, I honestly have take lock on RJ. I was never a fan of him pre-draft. I still don't know if I am, but I have to be honest. Second round draft pick, is that right? Second round draft pick in real life. He's going end of first round. Now, he was probably the biggest mover in draft day and dynasty, and definitely best ball fantasy football. So I have take lock on him. I didn't buy low, so I'm not going to buy high. So I'm going to be the one who opposes you. He's older. It usually doesn't work out. With that being said, I just endorsed 23-year-old Cam Scatabo. So, kind of talking on both sides of my mouth, you might notice here, but still, I didn't like RJ's film as much as Cam's, and that's why I'm going to have take lock on him.
Sorry, he didn't run over enough people for you, Jamie.
He didn't.
He's
running around people.
Reckless abandon, just driving through people. Not a good running back.
No, I need contact. All right.
How dare anybody make sure their career lasts longer? That's ridiculous.
So we're all down. I have two more flag plants, and you guys both have one. Is that right? Or Ryan has two still. James has one. Okay. So it'll go me, Ryan, remind me, so it makes sense. So we don't get like too redundant. And then James will have his last one up on the board here. My second flag plant. Hi, my name is Jamie Jakes, and I guarantee that second round wide receiver Trey Harris will be successful in the NFL. And now we're getting a little bit hotter, but let me point out, he is in, I think, the best landing spot, maybe even including Tet. Maybe the best landing spot out of any wide receiver drafted in the first two rounds of this season's draft. The only target competition, as far as I'm concerned, there for him is Ladd McConkey. And I think Ladd McConkey is good evidence as to why Trey Harris will be successful, because Ladd McConkey was drafted in the second round last year by the Chargers, and he was my second favorite receiver in the draft class, and he was the second best receiver in that draft class. You can argue that. I don't care. I think he's the second best, and they'll go down in history as that. Trey Harris was drafted in the second round of this year's draft, and he's my second favorite receiver in the whole class. He was the most efficient wide receiver in the class. And you say, well, yeah, he had like a cupcake schedule to start out, which is true. Wasn't the best opponents he was playing with, but when he played SEC teams, his efficiency actually increased. Now, of course, that's small sample size. So, maybe he doesn't end with 10 yards per route run against man at the end of the season, but it's still probably at 4 or 5 yards per route run if he plays the whole season. The only thing that can hurt Trey Harris is him getting hurt, is his injury history, which isn't as bad as it might seem from the outside looking in. No catastrophic like Nick Chubb style knee injuries, just like, cuts, bruises, nicks, hamstrings, groins, that sort of thing. And Harbaugh called me and said, hey, we're glad you competed at the combine. We were happy to see that. I know you didn't have the best combine performance, but we don't care. And I don't care either. And that's why I think Trey Harris is going to be successful in the NFL. James?
I think it is one of the better fits that I've seen in this draft class. I mean, we talk about Ladd McConkey short routes. Trey Harris loves the deep ball.
Slot. From the Ladd McConkey, already way more efficient from the slot than Amon-Ra St. Brown was last year. That's a metric for you.
I think it's a perfect fit. And honestly, play action passes, deep ball, you're probably going to see a lot of that this year now that they got Amari and Hampton. So I think it's a great fit for him for sure.
Yep. Did I mention Big Mike? Big Mike Williams over there in my promo. Big Mike Williams is there, 30-year-old receiver. Be a nice wide receiver complement, wide receiver 3, maybe red zone guy, opposite of Trey Harris, who'll be playing X probably. Ryan Perrio?
I agree. This has been also a solid pick. I felt like this has kind of been a paradigm-shifting draft where you see teams not just valuing the board, but valuing their board. It felt like all the teams kind of day traded picks that we all think are like important to us for their guy. Like they wanted this person. Like it was very interesting to watch. Like, hey, we're not going to let a 5th round guy like sink into the 5th round. We want him in the 3rd or 4th. We're going up and getting him. It was very interesting to see. It feels like kind of a paradigm shift from what we've kind of been doing since the 90s, which is highest rated player, take him there. And it seems like who's the highest rated player on our board? And we're going to take that, not a consensus.
Yeah. And that's why my third plant is Isaac Tesla. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not that bold yet.
But Trey Harris is absolutely kind of the kind of receiver they've been dying to have since they drafted Quentin Johnson a couple years ago. They've been looking for a big body since Vincent Jackson's been there. They've been looking for that big body speed threat that just absolutely makes Justin's downfield throws absolutely. Herbert can go deep and it's going to be caught.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's what the Chargers have been looking for since they let go of Vincent Jackson to Tampa Bay. Like that's been one of their regrets. It feels like that they regretted letting that receiver go.
Yeah, they got 2 young ones there now, and that's going to be very helpful. That's going to be like almost like a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins situation over there with those rookie contracts with a premium quarterback.
If Quentin Johnson wasn't motivated before this draft, he is now. I feel like he is definitely on the clock.
How much motivation do you need to hit the jugs machine every day if you're $1 million athlete? Don't get me started on Quentin Johnson, who I did love coming out of college. Anyways, Trey Harris, by the way, for you best ball nerds drafting right now, trying to make the big bucks, going 100th overall. Wide receiver 53. I guarantee he outperforms that barring injury. My next guy is drafted right ahead of him in the wide receiver position. But I'm going to let Ryan Perrio go ahead and get his second flag out.
We should have the American flag behind us, like a presidential, Ryan Perrio. And this is going to be actually a big fantasy, difference maker. I plant my flag on Terrence Ferguson, tight end.
Whoa!
Los Angeles Rams. Because you look at the freakish athletic skills that man possesses, and you put him with Sean McVay, who's been dying to have a tight end. You see how effective Tyler Higbee is when he can play, and he can only play 3 games a year. Imagine you get that for 16 to 17 weeks. I think with Cooper Kupp no longer there, Puka Nacua is going to be the focus. Terrence Ferguson, if he can get to TE1, is going to have a lot of opportunities downfield to really make some big plays and really show out in this offense.
I love it, and I hope you're wrong, because in a dynasty draft that I just had, the rookie draft, I misclicked on Terrence Ferguson in, I believe, the end of the 3rd round, James, and he was my 3rd ranked tight end in my fourth after Colson Loveland. Was my fourth favorite tight end of a deep class. Everyone's saying, like you said, Ryan, great situation. Seems like he'll just be thrust into a starting role if he shows any promise in preseason. And a guy who's super athletic, a guy I love the film, metrics, stats, all check all the boxes to me. And I really, really liked him. So I hope you're wrong. And I hope I didn't just like miss on a perennial top 12 tight end in fantasy football. But the reason I didn't, I'm the commissioner of the league, so I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to go back and like re-pick my own guy for me. I was like, whatever, because I misclicked and I got Arroyo instead, who I was trying to decide between Ferguson and Arroyo. And I was like, actually,
so you're not going to Dallas
fine.
Maverick the draft. You're not going to Dallas Maverick your draft and somehow magically end up with the top pick.
Well, I did actually trade James for the first overall pick. So I basically did Dallas Mavericks my own draft. And now I have 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds in the next 3 years, by the way. Anyways, that's a story for another day, James. James, what do you think about Ferguson out there in LA?
I really like him. The only thing I disagree with you guys on is him starting year one. I think Higbee just has that connection with McVay. I think he'll be starting. But if he gets injured this year, then for sure Ferguson becomes number one, which seems highly likely based on what has occurred in the past. But I think that veteran presence and the relationship that he has with McVay, McVay is the guy who's like, I love my guys, especially at the tight end position. He's like, this is Old Faithful. I'm just going to use him. But yeah, I think he's going to be great in the long run for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point, James, and I actually definitely agree with you there. And for the sake of this podcast, this is successful NFL career. Not necessarily all of these will be fantasy football endorsements. All of mine will be for this year, but for dynasty purposes and for the strength of this show, what we're looking for is next 2-3 years, these guys are going to show their NFL players. Is what we're saying here. So good point, James. And that brings us to your last flag plant, James. You had Travion Henderson and RJ Harvey.
Yep, those are my 2 other ones. I'm going with a tight end as well.
Okay.
But I'm going with the Mason Taylor in the New York Jets. I think I had him as tight end 3. I was not on the tight end ranking podcast, so I couldn't bring my hot take at that time, unfortunately. But I think this guy is the most consummate professional. I think he's the most versatile when it comes to all the things that you want a tight end to do. He's not going to be your fantasy tight end point grabber, but for sure he's going to be on your starting tight end for this team. He can block. He's a big guy. I mean, we all know who his dad is, Jason Taylor. So he's got pedigree in that manner. I haven't heard a bad thing about him, and that's a tough thing to do in Baton Rouge, to stay healthy, or at least stay out of the media is more what I should say there. And I think he's a fabulous pass catcher. I mean, he just kind of slips in behind. He's a massive body, catches it outside of his frame. He's got those massive mitts. I mean, he's just a giant target. Sure, he's not fast. Sure, he's not going to, be somebody who's like a Brock Bowers. But my God, you give this guy 1 yard of separation, and he'll just casually do a 15-yard run on you. So I really like him. And he also checks off all the bookmarks when it comes to, blocking and being a physical presence as well.
Yeah, he's going to start. He has no competition there.
None.
Zero. He's starting just by having a pulse over there in New York. So not a bad pick.
Into a much bigger red zone target, I think, especially with the way the Jets roster looks right now, and some of the stuff I saw from him at LSU, I think there could be a lot of opportunity for him to be a great target in the red zone as well.
I agree. If the Jets can unlock Justin Fields, that because Justin Fields absolutely got Cole Kmet into fantasy radar when he played for the Bears. Like, he absolutely went to just Cole Kmet, and that was it. Not that they had much else to have besides him, but you're putting an old reliable target in front of Justin Fields, and if Justin Fields feels like throwing, that's where he's going to try to go.
I don't hate the pick by your metrics and why you think he's going to hit the level. He's going to start. You're definitely right. He's definitely going to start for fantasy purposes. Again, maybe not a fantasy football endorsement, but professional player endorsement who's in the second round. He's going to get all the opportunity in the world, and he's going to get all the chances in the world to develop, and probably not going to develop in New York, but hopefully he gets like traded in 3 years and then he finds himself.
He's currently developed. I mean, when he was at LSU, was a consummate professional. He was consistent every game. There wasn't a lot of ups and downs. I mean, he didn't have massive games, which I think is why he kind of got stuck under the radar. But he was consistent every time. He would get 80 yards. He'd get a touchdown. It's kind of what all I need from a tight end who can actually block.
My comp is Anthony Beck. Like he just was there. You know, you don't remember Anthony Beck from those Jets teams, but he was on all those playoff runs as kind of the underneath target that just kind of picked up, you know, solid chain mover. It's all you need out of a tight end sometimes. If you got playmakers around you, and if you're gonna run the ball with a quarterback and 3 running backs, like the Jets are geared to do.
I can't wait to see it. And hey, you know what? The whole Salah thing, they learned their lesson. They're not going to go with a overhyped defensive coordinator. Oh, wait. They got an overhyped defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, over there, head coach of the Jets. So that's not
you just don't like being broken up with, do you, Jamie? You are just
I didn't even like him anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about. How hard is it to just call man every play and let Aiden Hutchinson wreak havoc in the backfield? It's not that hard. Anyways. See you soon, Aaron Glenn. See you in like 2 years, bud. Back in Detroit. All right. My third flag plant. Hi, my name's Jamie Jakes, and I guarantee Jaden Higgins of the Houston Texans will have a successful NFL career. They needed a Nico clone. They got a Nico clone. 6'4", freaky fast, freaky good. I love him. He was one of my favorite receivers in this draft class. His film, I talk about every target film a lot. Shout out to Just the Tape on YouTube, a great YouTube subscription to follow. Jaden Higgins, his every target film where they take every time the ball is thrown in his general direction, his every target looks like a highlight film, and you forget. The same way that Ladd McConkey, every target looked like a highlight film. Brian Thomas Jr., every target looked like a highlight film. Same thing for Jaden. He has breakneck, breakaway, see you later alligator speed. He's got the size and the contested catch ability to do so. He's got vacuum cleaners for hands. I can't remember what his hands measured out at. I should have that off the top of my head. Have to have 10 inches hands. Has to. There's no way he doesn't. Jaden Higgins has all the opportunity in the world. The wide receiver room is in need of help severely. I believe Christian Kirk is over there, who I believe will just be playing slot, and they'll need someone to play opposite of Nico because that's the offense they run. And I'm thinking probably this is more of an upgrade from Tank Dell, the exact opposite. They did the undersized receiver, try. They gave that a try. And now they're like, all right, let's get a 6'4" guy, weighs 220, who can run a 4.44. Let's quit being cute with this 5th round Tank Dell guy, who I still love. I love Tank Dell. Tough run at it, but that's going to happen when you're a 175-pound receiver in a men's league. James, you got a hand size for me?
Yeah, 9 1/8. T. Higgins is 9 1/4 for reference.
9 1/8. That's my hand. That's how big Jaden Higgins' hand is. So there you go.
We need to go to the NBA Hall of Fame and just go through all those basketballs and see where you finish up.
James, you like Jaden Higgins?
I very much like Jaden Higgins. He was going to be my back. He was actually my 4th option in case you gave me. Yeah, hey, you get a 4th one. So, 100% love Higgins. I'm so upset that I did not get him in our dynasty draft.
I had 2 dynasty drafts, and I got every single person I was targeting. I got like Harold Fannin in both leagues. I got who's the backup over there in Philly now? Kyle McCord. I got him in both leagues. I got Dylan Gabriel in one of my leagues. I got Cam Scadabo in one of my leagues. I got Trey Harris in one of my leagues, and the only person I couldn't wrangle was my guy.
Everybody's onto him. I'm a little disappointed about that. I thought when we did our wide receiver profiles, we were going to be under the radar. Well, hey,
everybody knew about Jaden Higgins. Turns out pretty tough to hide a 6'4", 4'4" guy. It's not easy. Ryan Perry, do you like Jaden?
Yeah, I like Jaden. I was more high on the other Houston Texan wide receiver draft pick, Jalen Noel, just because of the speed, just because I felt like not only do we need receivers, we needed speed. We had nothing that took a top off a defense. And I think Jaden Higgins can kind of do that. He doesn't really have like another gear. Like it's kind of like when you watch the Bugs Bunny cartoons, a Wile E. Coyote just kind of got running. Like he just has one speed. Like he doesn't have like a breakaway. But when you have hands like that, do you need to break away? You just need to catch the ball. I think he's a great compliment. I think he'll be wide receiver 2. I think you'll have 2 trees, and then you'll have 2 Christian Kirk and Jalen Noel underneath, with Jalen Noel also being our new punt returner. So because I can see, I understand why you take him, but I just really like Jalen Noel's game a little bit better, just for as a like I said, I wanted more speed on the offense. So I was glad we got both, but I was more hyped about Jalen Noel.
You're not the only one, by the way. I think Chris Sims, who ranks wide receivers every year, real free thinker, doesn't ever even look at consensus before he puts his shit out. I think he had Jalen Noel like 4th or 3rd overall. Also had Kyle Williams, who none of us is planning to flag on yet, but we'll see what Ryan's last pick is. And he had Kyle Williams at like 2 or something crazy like that. Yeah, I think at Tet 1 still. But anyways, you're not the only one who likes him. The reason I am not as high on him is honestly he does fit better into this offense, but I think he'll be playing behind Christian Kirk for most of this season because he is a full-time slot guy. Like he was like the highest slot alignment in the draft class, and they at Iowa State, they did not mix around their alignment. They're like, hey, guess what, Higgins, 98% of the time you're lining up as X, and Noel, guess what, you're a slot guy 98% of the time. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but that not too far off. Of course, draft capital, Higgins was drafted ahead of Noel or around a full round earlier, right? So that's something that you have to consider. Like I said, wide receiver 52 in best ball. And the one thing I'll push back on you, Ryan Perry, about what you said is Higgins doesn't have speed. I'm telling you, I'll give you acceleration isn't there like Noel has?
That's what I mean, acceleration.
Okay.
Speed, like he doesn't have a change of speed. Like it's going to take him a while to get up to top speed, but once he does, he's top speed. But it's not like Tank Dell where he takes 2 steps and it's 10 yards up the field.
That is 100% fair, Ryan Perry. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Speaking of which, let's get to the bottom of this flag plant episode. Ryan Perry, your 3rd flag. Plant it.
Okay, I'm going to plant this one for the defense because I feel like we've kind of stopped looking. I'm going to go back to the New York Giants, and I'm going to plant my flag, and Darius Alexander is going to be an absolute menace on the Giants' defensive line next year. He is right next to Sexy Dexy, who will definitely command double teams, alongside first-round draft pick Abdul Carter. Also, Brian Burns is still there on the other end. And you also have the kid from Oregon, who may or may not be on the roster. We don't know if he's going to stay there. But you're looking at that kind as an offensive line, where do you go? Darius Alexander absolutely destroyed the Senior Bowl. If you look at defensive linemen that had absolutely made their game at the Senior Bowl, he is absolutely near the top of the list. Darius Alexander was absolutely blowing up the Senior Bowl practices, blowing up every offensive lineman at every position, just going through them and around them. He's a great pass rusher. I think he's going to absolutely kind of be one of those defensive linemen where it's like you always think of the 3 technique like Tommy Harris or the Chicago Bears, where just a three gap penetrator that just absolutely wreaks havoc. I think that's going to be
6'4", 311. That's not going to hurt. Out of Toledo University. So we love that. I mean, I of course have seen a lot of film on this guy, but I honestly will have to go back and turn on the Toledo film after this conversation. Drafted 91 overall to the Giants. A great flag plant, Ryan Perrio. I can't wait to get receipts on this one because I have a feeling this is 100% out of Ryan Perrio, 91 overall. James, any thoughts on Mr. Alexander?
I like it. If I were to pick a guy, it'd obviously be Jihad Campbell. But no, I think the Giants.
Jihad he was first round.
Philly,
that's not allowed. You're not allowed to have first round guys on the flag plant.
Georgia conglomerate of the Eagles defense stays intact. But yeah, no, I agree. I think this guy's going to a great situation. And Kayvon Thibodeau, that guy's out of there. He really talked a lot about how education mattered to him. Well, maybe he should have gone to a school that actually develops NFL talent. So
well said. And thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you subscribe because right at the end of this video, we are going to start recording our rookie busts.
Plant your flag on our subscribe button. That's what you need to plant your flag in right there.
The notification icon. Oh, it used to be a flag. Now it's a bell. Damn.
For these guys, we'll see you next time.